welcome to part 2 of the fish tank conversion for a communal reptile tank. So off camera, and I'm actually glad I did do it off camera, I have started with the background and fixed this branch, which was made for birds because of the screw on the back. So I've started gluing this in, so I'm now going to finish putting a bit of this glue in, and then once that's dry I'm going to use a bit of the silicone, which I still haven't finished off on the bricks yet, but that will be done next time I get the silicone out. And I'm going to put the silicone around it and put some moss to hide the join and make it look a lot neater and natural. So let's just get that stick tool out, and then we'll glue that, and we'll start on the second piece of the background that's going to have a branch in. So should be enough in this one. It does feel very light. Luckily I do have a little bit of help with me today. Could you just hold that like that for me, please? Thank you. Right. So just putting a lot of this stick still, I'm still using that. It's really good stuff. It's a lot stronger than normal silicone, but to make sure that that can't move down, I will just put without getting my fingers stuck in the scissors, put a little bit of cork bark, which is just cut, and then wedge it in there. And like I say, I'm going to be putting silicone on this, so it won't look silicone and moss, and then so they look nice and neat and hide all this join. A little bit more in there. That'll do. If there is any more holes, don't talk this stick in your mouth. If there is any more holes, the silicone and the moss will fill that up. So this piece is now finished. Like I said, lucky I didn't film the first part on this, because I don't think YouTube would have enjoyed the amount of swearing that I was doing. I was trying to figure out how it was going to go on that. So I'm going to put it back in place with this lovely tube. So we'll leave that one there for that to dry. And we'll start on the other one. We're going to have start on the other one just by catching this drip. Don't sure I get the right piece out. I have got them all numbered, so here we go. So let me find the hole that I've made for this one. Okay, so I've made a hole just here where I want the screw fitting to go. This one's a little bit tighter than the other one. There we go. That's started there for a moment. So now let me put a nice generous amount of this sticks all in here. Might have to cut another wedge in a moment. Right. Could you just hold it like that for me? Well, time to catch the drip. Oh, if we can catch the drip somehow. So I was using this takeaway coffee stirring stick, just to get that underneath. Now we'll oil that. Okay, good. Okay, just give me one moment. I need to find something. Okay, sorry about that. Just have to pause for a moment while I try to find something and try and get this wedged in. But it doesn't seem to be going as well as the first one, but I'm sure once it's in the tank it shouldn't be too bad. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put it into place in the tank, and then use a brick to hold it at the right angle, and hopefully it should be sufficient for it to dry in place. Okay, so I've actually got it on upside down. Okay, so I don't need that one in there, so hopefully now, with that in place, with the brick hole where it needs to be height wise, because what I'm aiming for is the branch to be held on here or rested on this backboard, but also floating. So this stick saw takes around about 8 hours to be touch dry, but then it's around about 12 hours, a further 12 to 15 hours roughly for it to be firm dry. But obviously there's still a little bit of play with this, so you can move it around a tiny bit, but I'm confident that it will be held in place, because what I will also be doing is on the back of the bark I will be putting some more of this on, and if needed I do have the screw backings. Like I said, these were made for birds to screw onto the side of their cage, so that should be, I should be able to get the mounting on this one if needed. I don't think I'm going to need it on the other one because it is resting on the brick at the back just here, and it will be resting on this log, this cork round tube, when it's all fully set up. The tube will be further over here, but because of the substrate it will raise it up slightly, and part of this bark will help it rest on the smaller branch. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it there for that that to dry, and then we'll be back in roughly 24 hours to continue and get them fixed firmly into place, hopefully with the moss to disguise the join. So we'll see you again soon. But well, for you it'll be very soon, for me it'll be at least 24 hours. Okay, so it's been a little over 24 hours. Just wanted to make sure this is completely dry and firm where I wanted them to be set. So what I'm going to do now is going to put some moss over the joins just to make it more, a bit more aesthetically pleasing, and a bit of detail on it. So I'm just going to use some of the silicone sealant. Just going to put some down. I'm going to go down here a little bit, put a little bit on there, and just to spread that little bit out a bit more, I'm just going to use a stick, thanks to takeaways and other coffee shops. Spread this around, go around all of this. Might need a little bit more. Yeah, we'll need a little bit more, but that's fine. So now that's got a bit of coverage on it, let's bring this down a little bit more. Right, now the moss I'm just using is some sphagnum moss. I'm just going to loosen it up a little bit and then just press it on. Once it's dry, I'll turn it over, whatever bits fall off come off, and hopefully a majority of it will stay on. I might even be able to shake off what's free now. On the top, There we go. Okay, so leave that. That'll be okay for that one for now. So that was the first piece I did off camera. Now for the bit that we did earlier on. Just go back to the silicone. There, shall we put some other bits? Let's put a bit in. The top is all going to be covered with a fake plant, so you won't see much at the top. So let's get some bit on the lower bits. Because obviously the substrate will be covering the lower part of this bark. Let's get a little bit on there, see how it looks. Try and cover all that sticks all on here. What I've done with this bit is, because it's not actually resting on the brick like the other one, I've put the screw fixing on the back. I may have already said that earlier on, but just to show it again for you. Now get some of this moss again. I'm hoping this will look like what I've got imagined in my head. It's starting to. Now for some more underneath. This is the sphagnum moss that I'm using. It just comes in a dry block. You can put it into water if you need more humidity in other vids, depending on what your animal needs. I've got this. So I did used to have spiders and scorpions, but unfortunately I don't have any anymore. So I've just kept it dry for things like this, and if I ever need it for anything else. I'm going to put a bit of silicone on this bit, just so that it looks a bit different to the other one. Just making this up as I go along, like men do all the time. But all you can do with this really is have the image in your head, get a rough idea of what you want, and then build on that. I thought this was a bit darker than the cork bark, but it's working out okay. Silicone on my fingers, joy. That'll come off in a moment. Right, just right. Let's let's see how much loose we've got. Got a little bit of silicone showing there. Let's get you in there. Doesn't look too bad. Hopefully, let's give it another knock. I'm not going to knock it too much because obviously the silicone's still wet. I don't want to knock off pieces that will be sticking. So we'll leave that there now to dry. So we'll give that about 24 hours and then we will come back to it in a moment. So right, now I've done that, I thought as I've got the silicone out, I might as well put some more on this foam that we've got in here. A lot of this will be covered, but I just want to make sure there's no tiny little gaps for the babies that I've going to be having coming in here. So again, with my stick, I'm just going to spread this out a little bit. So I'm pretty sure a lot of this bit here is covered with the backing. Okay, you probably won't see much of it. Just putting some around the edge of this brick so you can't see where I am. Now let's get the front of this one. I'm pretty sure there's no gaps, but you can never be too sure. Need to be a little bit safe, more safe than sorry, just to be sure there's no hiding points that you can't get to, or babies get in and then can't get out. So, run along there, hopefully. Right, this is turning out a little bit more awkward than I thought. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to swap over to a time lapse and then we can get all this done and then we'll see you very soon. Okay, and we're back. So it's been a little while, probably 24-48 hours. So now this moss has all dried on here nicely. So it's actually now time to stick these into position. So what I'm going to do, we use the stick tool again, just in a couple of places, and then we're going to change over to silicone, and you'll see why in a short moment. So I'm just going to put the stick saw on 2 edges. I'm just going to put a bead along this edge, that's that one, and then another bead, another load on this bottom edge. I'm also going to put a little bit on this corner, not that corner, this corner here, and this is to hold this onto the glass. What I've done is on this edge, on this glass here, I've put some paper. The only reason I put the paper is because when I'm coming out of my room that's just behind us here, I'm not going to see the expanding foam, so that will be a little bit pleasing to the eye just for my pleasure. So I'm just going to put that there, put this back away, then change over to the silicone. And like I said, you will see why when I put it into place. Okay, so I've now changed over to my silicone into my gun. Now, just going to put this along this front edge. When I say front edge, because this is the leading edge on onto my tank. The nozzle's actually split, but it's okay. Ready for the first piece of background to be positioned. So I just want to be a little bit careful and make sure I get it in correctly. I'm just going to hold it there for a moment, just so that we can give it time to set. So just bear with me 1 minute. Okay, sorry about that. Just wanted to check a couple of things, but this doesn't actually seem now to be holding it in place. Sorry. Like I've probably said previously, either in this video or in part 1, I've not done this before. I've just had an idea in my mind with this empty tank that was sitting around for a while. So I just thought I'd give it a go and show you guys that it is possible. You've just got to be patient with it. Obviously don't expect too much too soon. Take your time, and fingers crossed it should all work out the way I want it to be. And obviously if you do decide to do your own one, it will slowly work. So I'm just want to, I've got it in place, this piece. I just want to hold it a little bit in position. So what we'll do is we'll leave that there for now, and we'll be back shortly and do the other piece. Hello, right, well, it has been a couple of hours. I have got this piece in place, but it's not fixed in place how I 100% imagined, but it is 99.9% where I wanted it. It's just a little bit of the top edge where my hand is here hasn't gone where I want, but I think that might just be because the bark is curved and it's slightly curved out on this top edge, but it's fine. We'll make it work with the other plans that I have for that piece. So what I'm going to do now is put this piece in on the back corner. So just let me reposition this camera slightly just so we can see that corner. Okay, yeah, that's fine there. Okay, so with this, I'm just going to put a bead along this inside, on the outside edge of this one, and on the inside edge of this top piece here. Thought I'd take that screw out 1 minute. Okay, so I've got that screw out, so let me double check again. Okay, so it's this, where's that lip gone, hold up. Okay, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to go along this bottom edge. Let me see if I can hold it a bit better. There we go. Okay, so go along this bottom edge. Okay, I'll go back over that in a second. sure I get all of it. So that's the bottom edge done. Now I'm going to go on this edge here, which is going to go on the edge of the glass. And now on this inside edge to fix to the back wall. I'm also going to, while I'm here, there's a hole there. I'm going to fill that up. Now, hopefully this bit will fit a little bit easier and nicer. Sorry for the reflections. Oh, I'll sweat that bit off later. So push it down. Wedge. Okay. Right. There we have it in place. Let me just move the camera around one moment. Okay. So here it is in place. Let me get my torch, get a bit of light. There we go. So it's glued on the edge. Don't worry about that, but that'll be covered later, and then glued or siliconed on this edge. But it doesn't appear to be far enough back. Okay, well that will at least give me something to work with for all the other pieces. So you've got that there. What I'll do is I'll run another bead across that a bit later once this is dried. So with a bit of luck, and well, I say luck, I think it's going to be okay. So that silicone will hold that one in place, and time will tell. Within about 8 hours at least, I'll take this brick off and then we'll see if that's held in place. So we'll see you probably within about another at least 24 hours. We'll let these two pieces dry up. Let me show you this first one a bit more. So there's that one. Okay, so I'll see you in about 24 hours at least, like I said, and then we'll get some more of the background barking. Okay, so we have left those bits to dry. It has been slightly longer than 24 hours as I initially thought, but that's because it took a little bit longer to dry than I thought. So I've just noticed something I need to scrape off. It's a little bit of extra silicone. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put in 3 pieces of the bark background. So I've got the piece that's going to go here, and you just put some silicone adhesive on. I want to apologise about the lighting. Show it the right way around. Get it on my finger, but there you go. Okay, now this bit will just slot in there. Right. Wedge this all the way back. So that silicone set for a moment. Hopefully it will stay in position. Not as well as I was hoping, so what I'm going to do is hopefully okay, so that's got that wedged in. Should have left it where it was. Okay, so that's that bit in. Now this next piece shouldn't be as awkward. I'll do this in extra light, so bear with me. So now with this, doesn't matter there, you can't actually get in with this branch. Actually, I can. Probably can't see what I've just done in the corner, but I've just put a bigger silicone in the edge. I'm going to put some more on the same edge so that silicone can bond to itself. And then I do need to make this escape proof, so I am being quite generous with the silicone because I don't want the animal that I'm putting in here finding the smallest little gap to get in behind here. If you want to have a guess of what's going in here, please put it down in the comments, and also while you're there, please like, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you want to share it, you can do, and also I hope you've watched part 1 on how we got those bricks in. So that is that all done. So now I just need to move this branch out of the way, wedge it in. So that's wedged, and while we're here, I might put, actually yeah I will, I'm going to put the last piece of bark in here as well, on this edge. One, I want to get this done. 2, I've made a mistake on where I've put that silicone on that edge. Sorry, I'm doing it in the light, I'm not actually showing you what I'm doing here. Just putting that bit on the edge because that's going to be stuck to the glass. Then another bit on the bottom. On I'm not going to put any on this side because there is a bit that I've put in by mistake. So let's get this piece in. Now, okay, so that is where I want it. So I'm just gonna smooth out some of this. Okay, so I'm not talking as much as I used to on here, but this does need a little bit of extra concentration, but that is pretty much in place. What I'll do is once it's dry, I will put some more silicone on this edge, and again I'm moving it out, my error. Okay, so this is actually a little bit further away from the glass than I was hoping, but as I was saying, on this edge here I will be putting some more silicone on it, and like we've done on here, which was shown at the beginning of this video, I will put some moss on there just to, one, sort of disguise the joins, and two, just to make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. I've just spotted a gap which I will have to silicone up, and again I think I will moss it. And this bit that I've just taken off, it's a little bit big nose bending. Again I will silicone and moss it. I'll go over what I've done shortly, just to show you how it looks. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I will be making sure that that back corner is escape proof. Okay, let's get onto the piece on the other side. So here we have the branch in place. Sorry about the torchlight. Okay, so this piece, I'm just going to put it in. As you can probably see, if you did watch the first part, I've taken the bit of paper off. The reason for that is because what I'm going to do is, instead of having the paper on there, I'm going to put a picture on the outside of the glass, so it's a bit more pleasing to the eye for myself when I'm looking on that side. So left-handed now, joy. No, I can do it right-handed. Okay, and now for the edges on the bark. Again, it is fairly straightforward on what I'm doing. Just wanted to obviously show you guys a little bit more detail on how I'm doing everything. Probably don't need it all in that corner because it does stick away from the brick, but just to make sure that we've got every chance of it sticking and holding into place. This piece is a fairly tight fitting piece. There we go, that's that, hold that in. Right, I'm going to find a way to wedge and hold that into position now. That is where I want it. So I just need to find another wedge. Hopefully this piece will work. Where's the brick? There it is. Okay, so that has wedged that nicely into place. Covered in silicone again, but that's all part and parcel of what we're doing. We need to do what we need to do, and if we do get anything on us, it's all fine. Okay, so for this section, I do believe we are slowly getting to where we need to be. So let me just turn the camera around and I'll show you what we've done. Okay, so let's have a look at this. I've got me light, so in that corner we'll be getting some moss. We've got these T-bits here stuck to the glass, hopefully. Yes, this is meant to be sticking out like that, that's the shape of the wood, but to those gaps behind, like I said, I don't want this, I need this to be sort of escape proof and not sort of hide proof, but hiding permanently proof, so that we can potentially see them all the time, whatever's going in here, and so that we never, and we want it so that we don't see them at all, because obviously we want to be able to feed them, make sure they're eating, make sure they're healthy. So we've got this wedge holding this back one on, so that's there. Okay, so for now we'll leave it at that, and then we'll come back for the last part of this video and put 1, 2, 3 more pieces in at the back. So let's have a look from the front, see how that's looking right now. There we go, guys. It's coming on very nicely. Okay, so like I said, what I do, come back, put the last 3 on in probably more than 24 hours, probably more like 48, maybe even 72 for 3 days, and then once they're in, off camera, I will moss all the seams, and then that will be the end of part 2, and part 3 will be, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do part 3 yet, but time will tell. So thanks for watching so far, and we'll see you again very shortly for the last part of part 2. Hello, and we're back. I actually forgot to press record while putting these last two or three cork barks on the back. So what I've done is put sticks all on the back of them, and then some black silicone around the edge. So they're holding really well. They've only been up a couple of minutes. I've put another bit of brick just here, which I was contemplating whether to put it in or not, and I thought as I put the sticks all out, I will put it in, because I do actually like the positioning of that. Also, you may have noticed that I've taken the backing off, which was from the fish tank. The reason I've done that is because I'm going to be using a piece of that on the outside of here, on this back edge, which I mentioned earlier on. So now what we're going to do is put this last bit of cork bark on, and then that will be the end of this part, because the next bit I don't think will make good filming. All it's going to be is putting in expanding foam in the back here, back of these barks that are hollow. Okay, so let's put this last piece on. Okay, what I've done, I've just put silicone on the bottom edge, silicone on this edge here, silicone on this edge here, because the way this one fits in, it was a little bit awkward. So the best option I found was actually just to put the silicone, as much silicone in the tank instead of on the wood, which I would normally do, and it just slots in and pops in there. Okay, so I don't want to be pushing that one back. Now that has gone in a lot easier than I expected. Okay, only thing I will do is scrape a lot of this excess silicone off. But I don't think that's going to work, so we'll leave it there, and that'll be a bit that gets some moss siliconed to the edge. Okay, so I am now extremely happy with the way this is coming along. That stick tool is absolutely fantastic. Silicone, you've got no chance of pushing that back and it actually bonding as quick as this stick tool has gone. Excuse me. So I just choked on it there. Right, obviously this is not sponsored by anyone, but I want to tell you what I'm using, just in case you're trying to do a similar thing and you want to know what to use. So that is part 2 complete. So I will see you in part 3, which will be the bit I've been dreading, and that's starting the lid. So hopefully that will go well. If you do like the way this build's coming along, please hit that like button. Please subscribe if you're not. Leave a comment. I will look at every comment. I've noticed the people who are watching are not leaving any comments. So please leave a comment, ask a couple of questions, because I'll be very happy to answer them all. Okay. And we will see you, I would say very soon, but I don't think it will be very soon, because the filling up at the back is going to take a little while. So see you guys later. Take care. Bye bye.